Greenland, a land often synonymous with vast expanses of ice and snow, where the harsh Arctic climate dominates the landscape. A vast land of ice and snow. Yet, within this seemingly inhospitable environment, there exists a hidden gem that defies expectations. But tucked away on its southwestern coast lies a unique region called Kujataa. This area is unlike any other part of Greenland, offering a surprising contrast to the icy wilderness that surrounds it. Imagine towering glaciers meeting fertile fjords. Here the natural beauty is both dramatic and serene, creating a landscape that is as breathtaking as it is diverse. This is Kujataa, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Recognized for its outstanding universal value, Kujataa is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of human civilization. It's a place where history and nature intertwine. Kujata's location is extraordinary, offering a glimpse into the past while showcasing the enduring beauty of the natural world. It sits at the edge of the Arctic Circle. This unique positioning means that Kujataa experiences extreme seasonal variations. This means long, dark winters and short, cool summers. The stark contrast between the seasons adds to the region's mystique and allure. Despite this challenging environment, people have thrived in Kujataa for centuries. The inhabitants have adapted to the harsh conditions, developing unique ways of living and farming that have sustained them through the ages. The name Kujataa reflects the region's dual identity. It embodies both the harshness of the Arctic and the surprising fertility of its valleys. It means the southern land in Greenlandic. This name is a nod to its geographical location and its cultural significance. This name hints at its position as a meeting point between two cultures, the Norse and the Inuit. These two groups, each with their own distinct traditions and ways of life, found common ground in Kujataa. Both groups, despite their differences, learned to farm in this extraordinary landscape. They developed innovative agricultural techniques that allowed them to cultivate the land and sustain their communities, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to be celebrated today. Around the 10th century, Norse settlers arrived in Kujataa. They were Vikings, skilled seafarers and farmers. They sailed from Iceland and Norway, bringing their livestock and farming traditions. These hardy pioneers established farmsteads in the sheltered valleys. They built sturdy houses from turf and stone. The Norse focused on pastoral farming. They raised sheep, goats, and cattle. Their livestock provided essential resources: meat, milk, wool, and hides. The Norse brought with them seeds from their homeland. They cultivated barley, a hardy grain, in the short growing season. These agricultural practices allowed them to survive and even prosper in this harsh environment. Their success is a testament to their adaptability and resilience. Long before the Norse arrived, the Inuit people had already mastered life in the Arctic. They were skilled hunters and fishermen, perfectly adapted to the extreme conditions. But the Inuit also practiced a unique form of agriculture. Their methods differed from the Norse. The Inuit focused on cultivating the land, not livestock. They understood the delicate balance of the Arctic ecosystem. They didn't try to drastically alter it. Instead, they adapted their farming techniques to the harsh environment. They developed ingenious methods to extend the short growing season. One technique involved creating raised garden beds. These beds protected plants from the cold ground and strong winds. Section 4. The Relentless Arctic Challenges to Survival. Life in Kujataa, for both the Norse and the Inuit, was a constant struggle against the elements. The Arctic climate posed significant challenges to their farming practices. The short growing season was a major obstacle. It limited the types of crops that could be grown, and the yields they could achieve. The long, dark winters were equally challenging. They demanded careful planning and preservation of food and resources. The unpredictable weather patterns with sudden frosts and strong winds could devastate crops and livestock. Isolation was another challenge. The remote location of Kujataa meant limited contact with the outside world. This made them vulnerable to shortages and hardships. Section 5. Ingenuity in the face of adversity. Norse and Inuit solutions. Despite the formidable challenges, both the Norse and the Inuit found ingenious solutions to sustain their farming practices. The harsh climate of Greenland, with its short growing seasons and unpredictable weather, posed significant obstacles. Yet these two cultures demonstrated remarkable ingenuity and resilience in the face of adversity. Their ability to adapt and innovate ensured their survival and the continuation of their agricultural traditions. Their resilience and adaptability are truly remarkable. The Norse, known for their seafaring prowess, brought with them agricultural techniques from their homelands. They faced the challenge of cultivating crops in a land where the soil was often rocky and the growing season was brief. The Inuit, on the other hand, had a deep understanding of their environment, honed over generations of living in the Arctic. They knew how to make the most of the limited resources available to them. The Norse developed sophisticated irrigation systems. These systems were essential for ensuring that their crops received enough water, especially during the dry periods. They constructed channels and ditches to divert water from nearby streams and melting glaciers to their fields. This not only provided a reliable water source but also helped to prevent soil erosion and improve crop yields. They channeled water from melting glaciers to their fields. This ingenious method allowed them to take advantage of the natural landscape and the seasonal melting of ice. By carefully managing the flow of water, they were able to create a more stable and productive agricultural environment. This was crucial for their survival, as it ensured that they could grow enough food to sustain their communities. This ensured a consistent water supply during the short growing season. The Norse farmers were meticulous in their efforts to maximize the efficiency of their irrigation systems. They understood that every drop of water was precious and that proper irrigation could make the difference between a bountiful harvest and a failed crop. Their dedication to maintaining these systems was a testament to their determination and resourcefulness. They also built communal storage structures. These buildings were designed to protect their harvested crops from the harsh elements and to ensure that food supplies were available throughout the year. The communal nature of these storage facilities fostered a sense of cooperation and shared responsibility among the Norse settlers. These structures, often built partially underground, protected their harvested food from the harsh elements. The insulation provided by the earth helped to maintain a stable temperature, preventing the food from spoiling. This was especially important during the long, cold winters when fresh food was scarce. The Norse settlers' ability to store food effectively was a key factor in their ability to survive in such a challenging environment. The Inuit, masters of their environment, relied on their deep knowledge of the land. They understood the subtle nuances of the Arctic ecosystem and used this knowledge to their advantage. Their farming practices were carefully adapted to the unique conditions of their surroundings, allowing them to grow crops in areas where others might have failed. They carefully selected sheltered locations for their gardens. These spots were chosen for their natural protection from the harsh winds and their ability to capture and retain heat from the sun. By planting in these sheltered areas, the Inuit were able to create microclimates that were more conducive to plant growth. These locations offered some protection from the wind and maximized sunlight exposure. The Inuit were adept at finding and utilizing these sunlit patches of land, ensuring that their crops received the maximum amount of light and warmth. This careful selection of planting sites was a crucial aspect of their agricultural success. They also developed techniques to fertilize the poor soil, using seaweed and animal bones. These natural fertilizers provided essential nutrients that helped to improve soil fertility and boost crop yields. The use of seaweed, rich in minerals, and animal bones, which added valuable organic matter, demonstrated the Inuits' resourcefulness and their ability to make the most of the materials available to them. Section 6. A Shared Heritage, the Cultural Significance of Kujataa. The story of Kujataa is not just about farming techniques, it's about cultural adaptation and resilience. This region, located in the southern part of Greenland, is a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of its inhabitants. The Norse settlers, who arrived in the 10th century, brought with them farming techniques from Scandinavia. They had to adapt these methods to the harsh Arctic environment, which was no small feat. The Inuit, on the other hand, had been living in Greenland for thousands of years, and had developed their own unique ways of farming and surviving in this challenging landscape. It's about how two distinct cultures, the Norse and the Inuit, interacted with each other and with the environment. This interaction was not always peaceful, but it was always significant. The Norse and the Inuit exchanged knowledge, tools, and techniques, which enriched both cultures. The Norse learned about the Inuits' sophisticated hunting and fishing methods, while the Inuit adopted some of the Norse's farming practices. This cultural exchange is a fascinating example of how human societies can learn from each other and adapt to new circumstances. This interaction shaped their identities and left an indelible mark on the landscape. The ruins of Norse settlements, scattered across the Kujataa region, stand as silent witnesses to this shared history. These ruins include farmhouses, churches, and other structures that tell the story of a people who were determined to make a life in a new and challenging environment. The landscape itself, with its terraced fields and irrigation systems, also bears the imprint of these early settlers. For the Norse, farming was more than just sustenance. It was a way of life. It was a connection to their Scandinavian homeland, and a means of establishing a sense of identity in a new land. The Norse brought with them a variety of crops and livestock, including barley, oats, and sheep. They built farmsteads that were similar to those in Scandinavia, with longhouses, barns, and storage buildings. These farmsteads were not just places to live and work, they were also centers of social and cultural life. It connected them to their Scandinavian homeland and provided a sense of identity in a new land. The Norse settlers maintained their cultural traditions, including their language, religion, and social customs. They celebrated festivals, held religious ceremonies, and passed down stories and legends from generation to generation. This cultural continuity helped them to maintain a sense of community and belonging, even in the face of the many challenges they faced in Greenland. The Inuit, too, found cultural significance in their farming practices. For the Inuit, farming was not just about growing food, it was about maintaining a deep connection to the land and to their ancestors. The Inuit developed innovative techniques for farming in the Arctic, including the use of raised beds and greenhouses to extend the growing season. They also relied on a diverse range of food sources, including hunting, fishing, and gathering wild plants. It represented their deep connection to the land and their ability to thrive in one of the world's harshest environments. The Inuits' farming practices were closely tied to their cultural and spiritual beliefs. They saw the land as a living entity, with which they had a reciprocal relationship. This deep respect for the land and its resources is a central aspect of Inuit culture, and has helped them to survive and thrive in Greenland for thousands of years. The story of Kujataa is a powerful reminder of the resilience and adaptability of human societies, and of the ways in which different cultures can learn from and enrich each other.